I'm Elizabeth Peter. I am a senior from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I'm majoring in telecommunications with a focus on management production, and I've been involved in Essence of Joy THON for 4 years. I was very involved in high school with my mini THON, and so coming to Penn State, I really wanted to get involved in THON. And so freshman year, I was part of choir, Essence of Joy, and they had an organization, Essence of Joy THON. And I thought it would be a great way to get involved with the people that I'm already singing with, I'm already spending time with, and I got the chance to get to know them better in a deeper capacity. I joined the THON org, and immediately I realized how much I loved it. We had an 18-year-old THON child, her name was Lindsay, and getting to know her was an interesting experience. She had already been in remission for a couple years and had been in THON she had been a THON child for 6 years. And so she knew the org inside and out. She knew everything there was about THON. So being with her, it was kind of a comfort. It was comforting knowing that here was someone who had cancer and loved being with us, loved getting to know us and be there at THON for 46 hours. And so I started getting very involved freshman year. I went on all the canning trips, stood outside, learned and practiced my music while standing there collecting money. And I got the chance to see how hard it was, how hard students worked to make money for THON. And so I went on the canning trips, and then I went to the family carnival, and that was a great opportunity to get to see lots of the younger kids at THON and see the fun side of it. And then my first THON experience, freshman year, 2012, was an interesting time. That was the first time I had spent 40 of the 46 hours there. I stood there holding our sign that said EOJ. I covered the late hour shifts because I wanted the dancers to look up and see that they weren't alone. I wanted our 2 dancers that were down there to see that they weren't fighting this fight by themselves. And it gave me the opportunity to get to know our THON child better over the 46 hours that we were there at THON. And it started to really challenge how I felt physically while being at THON. It's hard standing in the stands. It's not easy to be on that concrete floor and just look down at people dancing the whole time. But it was at that moment, freshman year, when I realized I really wanted to do this, that I wanted to dance at some point in time. Sophomore year, I joined a morale committee, and that was a fun experience. I got the chance to be with about 33 other upperclassmen, some who had already been on morale before and some who had not. And we got the chance to each get a dancer, raise money together, and create some fun games and activities for the dancers to do throughout the weekend. Now, moralers, yeah, we're a little crazy and kooky, but they make a big difference during the weekend. Being on morale, you had to be very involved. It was very time-consuming, and it gave me a different side of THON that I had never seen when I was just in an organization. And it was a good opportunity to see that. So we go to junior year. Junior year, I knew that I didn't want to be involved in a committee again because it was just too much involvement. It didn't really fit well with my schedule anymore, and I was in a new period in my life. So I decided I really wanted to dance. Most people save dancing for their senior year, kind of as that final moment. But I knew I had wanted to dance with one of my best friends who was in the choir with me. And I knew that you couldn't just dance with just anyone. You can't stand there for 46 hours with some random person you don't know. This is a team event. And I knew I needed somebody I could depend on and who cared about me and who knew me inside and out. So we worked very hard throughout the year. We work on a point system like most organizations do. We did canning trips. I housed a canning trip and had like 13 people at my house. And we did lots of fundraisers like coffee houses, especially because we were a choir. We got the opportunity to share our gifts in that way to raise money. And we had one of the largest fundraising years for our organization ever. So that was a very exciting moment. We got to know the Keeners, and that was a big moment for me and my dance partner, Ashley, because that was the only reason that we kept fighting. So THON weekend, that was tough. We were excited, we were nervous. We didn't know if we had everything packed. We didn't know if we needed 5 pairs of pants or 6 pairs of sneakers and how many t-shirts was I gonna wear. I had no idea. But we were excited. We packed as much as we could carry, within reason, sort of. And waking up THON weekend, waking up the Friday of THON was one of the most exciting days ever. It was like Christmas morning. And getting ready with all the dancers in the multi-sports complex before THON was nerve-wracking. You just felt this pent-up energy. Like everyone's ready to go, but we're trying to tone it back because we know we have 46 hours that we're gonna be awake for. And with THON, you don't just wake up and dance for 46 hours, you know. I had been up since 9 a.m. before that. I had to go to class. Ironically, I had to stand in one of my classes the whole time. So I had been standing for way longer than 46 hours that day. So Friday, THON, we go through that human tunnel, and you go through and you see all these moralers, and you see some of your friends and family out there in the cold cheering you on before you even walk into the BJC. And it's just pure energy and excitement. And it was just one of the best feelings walking through there. And it's hard. I'm not really a person who likes to have people help me, but I knew that this weekend I had to let it happen. I needed to tell other people when I needed help and accept that. So it was a good chance to really reflect on myself. That was a lot of what THON weekend was. It was a lot of self-reflection. But anyway, so we go through the human tunnel. You get to the BJC and you hear people cheering, and it is great. Finally, you put your stuff in your very, very tiny locker that was personalized by your moraler, and you shove your stuff in there. You go back out to the BJC, and you sit down. And you sit down and wait, and you stand up a little bit because you're excited. You take pictures with some people. And you sit down again. And then they start the countdown. And I vividly remember what was going through my mind during the countdown. And they start 10, 9, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, this is happening, this is good, I'm ready to go. 8, 7, okay, crap, do I have my shoes tied? Like, am I good to go? Did I eat enough food? 6, 5, 4, holy crap, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? I can't do this. 3, 2, 1. And you stand up. And I remember looking in Ashley's eyes, and we said, we're gonna do this. And now we're stuck for 46 hours, and I don't know what to do because I'm freaking out inside, and I wish I would have slept more, and I wish I would have not been standing for the past hour or running around being super hyper. And then you realize that you're gonna do this and that there are people there to support you and help you through it. The first couple hours was pure joy. I mean, everyone's dancing. You're trying to learn the line dance. You see your friends and family up in the stands. You're cheering to them. You know, you're making sure you're drinking water, but you're still just having a good time. You're really dancing like a crazy person because you're excited. And then you hit hour 12, and the BJC starts to clear out a little bit. You start to lose your energy, but you're still feeling good. You bounce the ball around a couple times, and you go change your shirt. You do slides of strength. Slides of strength was fun. The whole time I stayed with my dance partner, and we really relied on each other the whole weekend, which was really cool. It was really cool to have your best friend there beside you experiencing some of the same things, yet we both got tired in a very different fashion. Mentally, I was exhausted much earlier than she was. Physically, she decreased way faster than I was. So it was very interesting how both of us decreased at a different pace, but we were doing almost the same things. The whole weekend it was great. You look up and you see your organization. I finally knew what it felt like to see other people supporting me in a way that I had done for years. And it felt amazing. And I didn't really accept it at first. It was hard to believe that someone was there supporting me so much, and but it was an amazing feeling. And so pep rally, our THON children were on the floor being crazy, ridiculous, and they just bring this excitement back to you, and they are the reason why you fight. And you see them down there, and I'm like, I'm only doing this for 46 hours, and you're here fighting for your life. And every time I saw them, it was like I had just woken up again. and I had nothing to lose. And so we expelled a ton of energy when we saw them at the pep rally, and we were getting other dancers to have more energy because they loved seeing our interaction. I swear we have the best THON children, but pep rally was the moment I realized what a difference they made in me mentally and physically. So we danced a lot, because one, it was fun to dance for your friends who were in the stands, because they would just laugh at you and take pictures. And then two, we danced because that's how I get my energy. So I would dance and drink Gatorade and dance some more. But one of my favorite things that I did was I got to mop the floor with OPP. That was super fun. I got one of my friends who was an OPP captain, and she let me and my dance partner mop part of the floor, and honestly, that was the most exciting thing that we had done. That and play giant Jenga and throw a tennis ball for about 2 hours. My parents came at 5:30 a.m. and then they had left. You only got to see them for like 15 minutes, it felt like. I still had 10 more hours left, and I was falling apart. And that was when my sister really went into moraler mode. She had never seen THON before. She had put up a fight for coming to THON, and she turned into the person that I needed her to be at that moment. And she completely became the best moraler ever. She was exactly what me and my dance partner needed. It's very interesting. When people come on the floor, they ask you, what do you need? What do you need? And you take a moment and you're just like, I have no idea what I need right now. And so Victoria came on the floor and she knew exactly what I needed, and so she made me do it. I would go to the bathroom and I was almost about to fall asleep on the toilet, and she would do mad gabs with me and bang on the door and wake me up. And she not only moraled me, but the people around me. And that's when I realized how important having a family member there was. And then we got to the Final Four. And the Final Four is a tough time because everyone says, you're at the Final 4 hours. You're at the Final 4 hours. This is amazing. This is great. But as a dancer, you go, I have 4 more hours. I have 4 more hours. How am I going to do this? And so much of the time I wanted to put my mind to rest. I wanted to just turn my brain off for 10 seconds because I was that mentally exhausted. And I have never done anything that has pushed me so far, physically or mentally, and then combined. Then we got to the final 2 hours, and the final 2 hours, I couldn't handle it. And I remember the Nittany Lion coming up to me, and he hugged me, and he picked me up. And he didn't say anything, but he just held me. And I'm sure that that man was exhausted. He had been there all day, all weekend, you know, picking kids up and playing with them. But he took the time to hold me, and just so much was said in that hug. So much was translated in that passionate hug that told me, you can do this, you're going to be all right. And then you get to the last half hour. For a whole hour, my sister had been telling me, you only have 45 minutes, you only have 30 minutes. And really, she had been giving me 15 minutes off of what the real time was. So whenever she said 45, I only had 30 minutes left. And she would say 15, and I only had, 5 minutes left. And I got angry at her. I got angry. I was like, I can't do this for 15 more minutes. And she was like, you just did this for 45 hours. You can do 15 more minutes. But the last song plays, and you realize that I'm done. I am almost done. But it felt like the longest song in the world. Oh my gosh, I was so tired of it. I was tired of THON. I just wanted them to do it and be done. And they do that countdown. And it was like the sweetest countdown I have ever heard. And me and my partner just looked at each other, and we collapsed on the floor. And sitting down, ironically, hurt more than standing up, because all of a sudden my muscles were tense. I had been standing the whole time, so it felt weird to sit all of a sudden. Finally, when they revealed the total, I didn't think I would be able to stand up. I didn't think I would get up. I thought I was just going to sit down because I was so excited I had finally sat down. And then it said $13.3 million. And we just jumped for joy. And I cried, and I hugged her, and I hugged my sister, and I hugged my THON child. And I realized that $13.3 million were going to help save her life. was going to make a difference in her life and that I had done this for her. I will never go climb a mountain. I won't go climb Mount Everest. I'm not going to go run the New York Marathon. But this was my marathon. This was my chance to give back to so many people that have helped me through my life, and the chance to help fight for something that I truly believe in. And that's cancer research, and that's, these 4 Diamonds families. THON weekend was one of the hardest but best moments of my life. I think about my junior year, and I wouldn't give up that weekend for anything. Yeah.